Good day and welcome to our presentation. Today we'll be showcasing our full Udo ERP implementation for hydrocap manufacturing. Our group members are me, Joshua Wikenshin, and Upanta Baidya. Over the course of this video, we will walk through all major ERP modules we configured, which are sales, purchase and inventory, manufacturing and accounting, and demonstrate how Odoo integrates this into a single seamless workflow. We'll also explore profit-driven tools like CVP analysis, dynamic pricing, scenario simulations, and automated alerts. Hydrocap Manufacturing is a simulated Malaysian company that produces stainless steel insulated water bottles. Our main focus is on the insulated water bottle 750 ml, which is the central product used across all modules in this implementation. We selected this product because it has a clear bill of materials, requires multiple suppliers, and represents a realistic manufacturing process. Odoo is an open source enterprise resource planning system composed of hundreds of interconnected business modules. Each module, such as sales, purchase, inventory, manufacturing, and accounting, shares the same database. This means that when we create a sales order, it instantly updates stock, triggers production, and affects financial records automatically. One of Odoo's greatest strengths is its modular flexibility. You only activate the modules you need, and Odoo manages the integration for you. This makes it a powerful ERP tool for SMEs like Hydrocap who need automation and transparency but don't want overly complex systems. We begin by setting up vendor master data. Vendors form the backbone of procurement, and without correct vendor configurations, purchase orders would not link to the right pricing or lead times. Hydrocap works with four suppliers, namely Steelworth Supplies, which supplies steel tube, Cap Master Plastic supplies plastic caps, Seal Right Silicon supplies silicon seals, Print X Labels supply product labels. By configuring each vendor with lead times, payment terms, and default products, Odoo can automatically generate accurate purchase orders whenever raw material stock falls below required levels. This ensures we always maintain sufficient inventory for manufacturing. Next, we created all raw materials as stockable products. This is essential because stockable items allow the inventory and manufacturing modules to track quantities, costs, and stock movements. We also assign vendor prices and reordering rules. For example, if steel tubes drop below 100 units, Odoo will automatically suggest or generate a new purchase order. This automation prevents stockouts and ensure manufacturing can continue without delays. Each raw material has fields for costing, vendor information, purchase lead times, and stock tracking. This lays the foundation for accurate boom costing and inventory valuation. Our finished product, the insulated water bottle 750 ml, was configured as a stockable product. This means Odoo can store it in inventory, track quantities, and record valuation. The product is linked to its bill of materials, pricing, and sales routes. We enable the manufacturer route, meaning orders for this bottle trigger a manufacturing order automatically when stock is unavailable. Odoo also calculates cost dynamically based on the boom, which ties into our dynamic pricing logic later. For the sales module, we created customer records including Feed Hub, Retail, Aquamart, Superstore, and Direct Online Customer. Each record includes billing details, payment terms, and assigned price list. This allows Odoo to automate quotation creation, apply correct discounts, and track receivables accurately. Customer master data is essential because it determines how orders are processed and how payment terms affect accounting. In sales settings, we enable price lists. This feature allows multiple pricing strategies such as retail prices, wholesale discounts, and cost plus formulas. Price lists are extremely powerful because they automate pricing logic and reduce manual adjustments. For hydrocap, price lists are essential for managing bulk customers who receive volume discounts and cost-based pricing updates. We configured three types of price lists, namely standard retail price list, which is used for small customers and online buyers. The pricing is fixed. Wholesale price list applies a 10% discount automatically for orders above 100 units. These features allows Udo to calculate discounts without manual calculation. And lastly, cost plus dynamic price list. This is one of the most powerful pricing tools Odoo offers. The formula is price equals product cost times 1.4, meaning whenever raw material cost or boom cost changes, the selling price adjusts instantly. This ensures Hydrocap protects its profit margin even when suppliers' prices increase. To simulate the manufacturing process, we created three work centers, which is cutting and forming, assembly and sealing, packaging and labeling. Work centers represent physical or logical production locations. Odoo uses work centers to measure capacity, schedule production, and break down operation into manageable tasks. Our bottle bill of materials contains four components, which are steel tube, plastic cap, silicone seal, and printed label. We also attach routing steps to the bill of materials, so Odoo knows the exact sequence required to produce the bottle. These features ensure production orders run smoothly, materials are consumed correctly, and finished goods are recorded accurately. Odoo's reordering rules automate procurement based on minimum and maximum inventory levels. For example, the steel tube has a minimum of 100 units and a maximum of 500. When stock falls below 100, Odoo will generate an RFQ to the correct vendor. This automation prevents both stockouts and over purchasing, which improves cash flow and production continuity. Now we move on into the sales workflow. We begin by creating a quotation for Feed Hub Retail. Odoo automatically fills in customer details, price list, and product information. Once the customer approves, the quotation converts into a sales order. From here, Odoo checks stock availability. If finished products are not available, the system automatically creates a manufacturing order. This is a key ERP integration point. Sales demand directly triggers production, ensuring a responsive supply chain. After manufacturing is complete and the product is added to inventory, a delivery order is generated. Odoo also supports partial deliveries and back orders. Finally, once goods are delivered, the system generates a customer invoice which is linked directly to the sales order and inventory movement. These are screenshots of some of the sales order before they convert into invoices. Invoicing is fully automated in Odoo. When delivery is validated, Odoo prepares the invoice automatically. The invoice includes all pricing rules, taxes, and payment terms. When the customer makes a payment, the system records it and updates accounts receivable. These automatic postings reduce manual accounting work and ensure the financial statements are always correct. Every invoice triggers a journal entry. It debits accounts receivable, credits sales revenue. These form the core of Hydrocap's financial flow. These are some of the examples of invoice that are paid. Now we'll move on to the purchase and inventory workflow. Whenever manufacturing requires raw materials or stock levels fall below minimum levels, Odoo generates a purchase order. In this example, a purchase order was triggered for plastic caps. The PO includes vendor pricing, lead time, and order quantities. Once confirmed, the vendor prepares the delivery. When materials arrive, the warehouse team validates the incoming shipment. Odoo immediately updates the on-hand quantity and valuation. This ensures accurate raw material visibility. Receipts also trigger vendor bills in the accounting module, linking procurement directly to financial tracking. In this screenshot, it shows the purchasing of silicon seal. In the first picture, it shows 0, and after purchasing, it decreased to 500.
Hello, I am Upanta, and so I'll be talking about the manufacturing executions. So, starting with the manufacturing flow. So, in manufacturing order, the manufacturing order actually shows the full bottle production workflow, and the manufacturing order contains three work orders corresponding to our routing steps, which are cutting, assembly, and packaging. So operators mark each work order as completed inside Odoo, and once all the operations are finished, the raw materials are consumed from the inventory, and then the finished bottle quantity is actually added in the stocks. So in this slide, we have the screenshot from our Odoo application, which actually shows uh, the ordered quantity from the customer, and so after the manufacturing is finished, the stock will be uploaded in our system, and we can actually see it by pressing on the smart button named as on hold. So when we press the on hold button, we can actually see the we can not okay, okay, so here we can not only see how many stocks we have, we can also see the future forecasted, like how many bottles can how many of the how many new products can be required for future orders, and how much we should start producing. So in that way, Odoo is actually a smart system. So, and also the entire process is automatically linked to the accounting section as well, through the stock valuation. So in the current slide, we can see the after the production order has been declared, we can see like if all the raw materials are available for our production. If one of the raw materials are not available, it will show in the system that this product is not available, and you can directly reorder from or reorder or back order from that screen. So but in our case now it's available. So after we have all the raw materials, we can directly click in produce all, and it will directly link to the work centers. We have three work centers, which are cutting, packaging, and assembly. So after the work centers are also finished with their works, we can actually have all the quantities ready in our stock. So we actually tested the master production schedule, which is also known as MPS, to plan our production ahead of the expected sales. Because as I mentioned earlier, we can see the forecasted sales from this on hold smart button. So MPS actually allows managers to actually forecast weekly or monthly productions as well. Although manual manufacturing orders can still be created for testing and internal stock building, Odoo also provides capacity planning tools for work centers. This helps production managers to identify bottlenecks, manage workloads, and to plan shift accordingly. So the current slide actually shows the workflow of the whole production procedure from the production, including the vendors keeping all the products in the stocks, and to delivering them to our customers. So it starts with the production, with the manufacturing, and while the manufacturing, we need to order all the raw materials from the vendors. So and when we receive the receipts from the vendors, from the invoices, we have to pay the vendor. We have a time period of 30 days to pay the vendors, and meanwhile we can stock all the produced products in our warehouses, and from there we can directly deliver the products to our customers. And after we receive the revenue, we collect the revenues from the customers, we can pay back the vendors, and adjust in our general ledger. So this slide is actually a small overview of how the MPS system works in Odoo. So we can actually directly include the safety triggers, like how much we have to produce in a certain period of time, and when should the system trigger for new production. So here we set the minimum requirement as 100 units. So when the produced units are less than 100, the system will automatically trigger for new production. And in the MPS, we can directly include how much we need to produce based on the demand forecasted by the managers. So let's say on the first week we have to produce 150 units, then on the next week we have to produce 250 units. So that's how we can actually use MPS to plan ahead for the production before the expected sales. Okay, so this slide actually shows how we can trigger the manual manufacturing orders. So let's say we have to produce a certain amount of units for a new customer. So we can directly manufacture them from the manufacturing app in Odoo. And when it's similar to provide doing with MPS, but it's just we are not adding the MPS feature in it. So mainly it's done for one-time customers. So when we have all the raw materials available, because in the first screenshot we can see that all the materials are available. That's why in the availability section it shows that the product can be produced. And after we confirm the order, it actually passes to the work center, and the production actually starts. And so after we press confirm, we can see the work centers are like work centers started their works. So because all of the work centers are like combined in a time schedule, so after one finishes its work, the next one can start. And so when the cutting for example, when the first workshop, which is the cutting workshop, finishes its work, the assembly workshop can start its work. So this the whole workflow can be managed from Odoo system directly. So here we can see the stock impact after the production is finished. So previously, the on hand number is 0 because there is no finished product. But after the production is done, the raw material number decreases, and the finished product, which is our insulated water bottle, 75 milliliters, the on hand unit number increases to the certain production units we produced. Okay, so one more interesting feature about Odoo is we can actually add capacity planning in Odoo systems. So how it is done is basically we can add a certain capacity of units to be worked on. So for this example, I put 10 units. So the first work center, which is the cutting work center, finishes 10 finishes the work for 10 units, then passes them to the next work center, which is assembly. So on this way, the production can be managed more fluently, and efficiency can be increased for the production. And there's also a function in the work center, in the work center functionality that shows how much time one work center is taking to finish uh, its its task on a for a given amount of units. Let's say we want to produce 100 units. So for this section, the second work center is taking much more time than any other work centers. So this way we can like manage the managers actually can manage all the work centers for more efficiency. One more thing about production is so basically the raw materials are going to finish. So after the raw materials are finished, we can directly reorder them from the same vendors by just by using replenishment. So replenishment is a feature in Odoo which allows the users to directly reorder from the similar vendors with similar if there's no increase in the price then with the similar price and similar kind of qualities. So by just clicking replenishment, we can directly reorder the raw materials so that the production is fluently done. And so replenishment can also be automated in the in the replenishment smart button. If we add automated and have a quantity of let's say for this case I put as 100 units. So when the raw material number let's say for the steel tubes or for the plastic cup unit numbers are less than 100 units, the Odoo system will directly trigger the system to replenish it and reorder the raw materials from the similar vendors by itself. Okay, so let's start with financial accounting flow. So Odoo's accounting module actually integrates every financial transaction automatically, and customer invoices become receivable, vendor bills become payable, and stock valuation updates reflect manufacturing actively. So in the current slide, we can see that the for our customers when the invoices are sent, Odoo actually directly publishes an invoice for the customer to be sent, and which can be directly sent through email or can be posted to their addresses. By using Odoo, customer invoices can also be created from sales order because there's a invoice smart button in Odoo section. So after the sales order is finished, the invoice button actually directly creates an invoice for the customer which can directly be sent to the customer. So journal entries are created without the manual intervention, assuring accurate profit and loss statements, inventory valuations, and tax reporting. Also, automatic inventory valuation can also be done using Odoo. Well, that's a part of inventory, but I did that part. So and after I did it after the accounting or the financials section. So that's why I added it here. So so we can directly like evaluate the raw materials and the finished goods after the production has been done or the new raw materials has been ordered from the vendors or after they're received from the vendors. And also the sales has been delivered to the customers. So, as I mentioned earlier, the journal entries are created without manual intervention, so ensuring that there's accurate profit or loss statements and inventory valuations and sometimes tax reporting also. So, this slide actually shows how this Odoo system can automatically intervene the uh, whole journal entries, including the receivable amounts, the debits and credits, and also the like subtracting the cost of production from the revenues. So it actually shows a proper profit and loss section, which I will be showing in the next slides. So one thing I mentioned in the previous slides is taxes, like sales or purchase taxes and tax reporting. So in the Odoo system, we can directly add required taxes like SSTs or other taxes issued by the government in the system directly. So the values are added directly in the system, so we don't have to add them manually, and the system automatically calculates the values and creates the invoices and also updates in the general ledger by itself. Well, this is not the final general ledger because as we can see the cost of production is zero here, cannot be zero because there's always a cost of production. But the main reason why I'm showing this because you can see the tax cuts from the revenue in the general ledger here. So the one thing I wanted to show you that this is the single source of truth that one Odoo one of this is one of the main advantages of Odoo, that all the ledgers and the invoices can directly be automated in the system, and we don't have to do them manually. So there's less chance of being wrong with the account sections. So in bank journals and recognition, we can directly add our required banks. In this case, we are using Maybank as an example. So we can add the banks and also add our cost of revenue sections, like how much it will be deducted, because every transaction in a business is through a bank. So all the debits and the credits are through the bank. So we can add all of the details in the system. And also for the final ledger, we can add analytics account and cost centers like manufacturing and over manufacturing costs and overtime labor costs. So we can add these kind of sections in the system's analytic accounts, which will be deducted from the revenue sections in the final ledger. Also, one more thing is the cost of utilities. So, yeah, in a production, there's always a cost of utilities which we have to deduct from the revenue to see how much profit or loss we are in a business. So, we can also add those things in the Odoo system and directly have everything ready in the general ledger sections. One more thing about the auto system is you can actually add all the extra costs in the system, and which are secured. So basically, you can just go and, like, anyone cannot just go and change them. You- They have to create a whole new entity for if there's a new kind of cost. So there's always a security in the system. So in the financial report, we can see the revenue and the loss of cost of revenues. So the cost of revenues are also from cost of revenue account, which is from the bank. So we can directly add that in the Odoo system, and the system will directly deduct the amount from the revenue, and also the gross profit and loss of operating expenses like utilities and everything. And the costs I mentioned earlier about manufacturing costs and overtime labor costs, those are also uh, included in that section. And after everything, we can see the net profit if we are having a profit or a loss as a business. So here we can see that we are in profit. So this is how the system can actually show in the financial report that if like how can we like plan for next batch of production, or should we include anything else with the financial report. The financial report also shows the cash flow of our business. So here we can see that all the numbers are in negatives because we are the vendors, not the vendors, the customers haven't paid us back the amount they owe us. So after they pay us, the money will be deducted from the debit account to a credit account, and the general ledger will be settled. Because that's how actually cash flow works, that debit account is the asset, and the credit account is the liability. So currently we have the assets that they have to pay us as our business the amount that they owe us. So in this section, we configured simple sales and purchase taxes. Odoo automatically applies these tax rules to invoices and vendor bills. And also our tax reports are generated with one click, making compliance is much more easier. And one other thing is about the analytics accounts. So analytics accounts act like cost centers. We use them to track manufacturing costs and overtime labor expenses. This actually provides deeper visibility into cost behavior and supports decision making related to efficiency improvement. And Odoo also generates real-time profit and loss statements, balance sheets, and cash flow reports, which we saw in the previous slides. So these reports reflect every operation carried out in the system, such as sales, purchase, manufacturing, and payment. This immediately shows Hydrocap its current profitability, outstanding receivable, liabilities, and stock values. So let's consider a scenario that the material costs went up to 50%. So in that case, we have to um, in, so basically all the material prices went by 50%. So uh, in that case, our cost of production will go up. So when the cost of production goes up, uh, the Odoo system automatically updates it in the in the next general ledger, and gives us the exact value of profit or loss for that batch of production. So when we have a 15% increase in the raw materials, so basically the system directly deducts the new material costs from the cost of production. Yeah, cost of production. So when there's increase in cost of production, so there's going to be less profit than the previous one. So we can clearly see that in the first batch of production there was a certain amount of certain percentage of profit, but in the second one we can see that the cost of production increased. So basically we have less percentage of profit this time. So on this slide, we are looking at the scenario two, where the hydrocap sales volume drops down to 20% by selling price and the unit cost at the same time. So in the table, the first row actually shows our baseline. We sell 1,000 units for 40 ringgits each, and the variable cost per unit is on 20 ringgits. So the total variable cost is 20,000 ringgits. That gives us a contribution margin of 20,000 ringgits. After subtracting the fixed cost of 5,000 ringgits, the profit is in 15,000 ringgits. Now, when it's the scenario two, like the demand falls down by 20%, so the quantity drops from 1,000 units to 800 units. Selling price and variable costs per unit stay at 40 ringgits and 20 ringgits. Total revenue falls to 32,000, and total variable cost falls to 16,000 ringgits. Contribution margin becomes 16,000 ringgits, and fixed cost is still 5,000, so the profit actually drops to 11,000 ringgits. So the important point here is a 20% drop in volume reduces profit from 15,000 ringgits to 11,000 ringgits, even though price and cost per unit haven't changed at all. Fixed costs stay exactly the same, so less volume means less contribution to cover and in the fixed costs. So this scenario actually shows how sensitive hydrocap's profit is to changes in the demands. Even if our cost structure and pricing are stable, relatively small drop in sale volume can significantly reduce the bottom line. And management can use this kind of CVP analysis to see how risky it is if sales slows down, and it supports decisions like pushing promotions, adjusting capacities, and reducing fixed costs if indeed. Thank you for watching our presentation. Through this project, we demonstrated how Odoo integrates all aspects of Hydrocap's operations into a single and efficient system. Thank you all.